We're told to complete the ratio table to convert the units of measure from hours to weeks or weeks to hours. So we see here they've told us already that there's 168 hours for every 1 week. One way to think about it is the ratio of hours for every week is 168 to 1. And then they calculate, well, if we have 1,176 hours, how many weeks is that going to be? So pause this video and see if you can figure it out. Well, let's see, to go from 168 to 1,176, what do we have to multiply by? So let's see, that looks like we might be multiplying by 7. Let me try that out. So 168 times 7 is equal to 8 times 7 is 56. 6 times 7 is 42, plus 5 is 47. And then 1 times 7 plus 4 is indeed 1176. So we multiplied by 7. We multiplied the number of hours by 7. So that means we're going to have 7 times as many weeks. So 1 times 7 is 7 weeks. Now, what about a situation where we have 3 weeks? How many hours is that going to be? Well, we are multiplying our weeks by 3. So we would want to multiply our hours. We would want to multiply our hours times 3. So 168 times 3. 8 times 3 is 24. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 2 is 20. And then 1 times 3 is 3, plus 2 is 5. So that would be 504 hours. Let's do another example. So here they tell us the double number lines show the ratio of yards to miles. So the ratio of yards to miles, it looks like we have 3,520 yards for every 2 miles. And you see that on this double number line right over here. Then they say, how many yards are in 5 miles? So why don't you pause this video and try to figure it out? Well, the way my brain wants to do it is, well, let's just think about how many yards are in each mile. So if the ratio is 3,520 to 2, well, how could I rewrite this ratio so it is how many yards for every 1 mile? So to go from 2 to 1, I am dividing by 2. So I would want to divide this by 2 as well. So 2 goes into 3,520. Let's see. 2 goes into 3 one time. 1 times 2 is 2. You subtract. You bring down the 5. 2 goes into 15 7 times. 7 times 2 is 14. Subtract. We have 1. Bring down that 2. 2 goes into 12 6 times. 6 times 2 is 12. And we subtract, no remainder. But then we're going to have one more 0 here because we bring down that 0. We say 2 goes into 0 0 times. 0 times 2 is 0. And we have no remainder. And so this is 1,760. So we could put that here on our double number lines. So if we have 1 mile, that is 1,760 yards. Now they're asking about 5 miles. So 3, 4, 5. So when we have 5 miles, what is the number of yards? Well, if you multiply by 5 here, you're also going to multiply by 5 right over there. So what's 1,760 times 5? Well, let's just figure it out. 1,760 times 5. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 6 is 30. Regroup that 3 because it's really 3 hundredths. 5 times 7 is 35 plus 3 is 38. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 3 is 8. So there you go, 8,800 yards. 8,800 yards. Let's do a few more examples. Here we're told there are 914.4 millimeters in a yard. There are 3 feet in a yard. How many millimeters are in a foot? Okay, so one way to think about it, you could say there's 914.4 millimeters per yard, or you could say 914.4 millimeters per 3 feet, since 3 feet and a yard is the same thing. So if you want to know per foot, you would just divide both of these by 3. So let's do that. And I'll just do it in a different color here. 3 goes into 914.4. 3 goes into 9 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract, we get a 0. Bring down the 1. 3 goes into 1 0 times. 0 times 3 is 0. Subtract, you get a 1. Bring down that 4. 3 goes into 14 4 times. We're going to have this decimal right over here. 4 times 3 is 12. You subtract, and then so you get a 2. Bring down this 4, you get a 24. And lucky for us, 3 goes perfectly into 24. 8 times 3 is 24. 24, you subtract, and we have no remainder. So we have 304.8 millimeters for every foot. Let's do one last example. Yuki bought a pound of confetti for $12. What is the price in dollars per ounce of confetti? There are 16 ounces in 1 pound. So pause this video and see if you can figure it out. So let's just write this out in words. So it's $12 per pound of confetti. So you could view this as $12 per 16 ounces. 16 ounces of confetti. And so if we want it per ounce, so you could view this as a 12 to 16 ratio, but we want to say something to 1 ratio. So if you say per 1 ounce, well, we're dividing by 16 there, so we would want to divide by 16 as well. So this is going to be 12 divided by 16. So 12 divided by, well, let me write it over here. So 12 divided by 16 is the same thing as 3/4. Just divide both of them by 4. And so this is 0.75, or 75 cents. 75 cents per ounce, or 75 hundredths of a dollar per ounce. So 0.75. And we're done.